What if the most dangerous animals on Earth were not the ones roaming free in the wild, but the ones sitting behind bars in zoos right now? From a lizard that stalks handlers like prey, to a bear that memorizes human routines and waits for the perfect moment to strike. Every single animal on this list destroyed enclosures, attacked specialists, and proved that no cage built by human hands was ever going to hold them for long. These are not exaggerations. Every case is documented, verified, and in many instances, fatal. Stay with us because the last one is in a category entirely of its own. Number 15, Narwhal. In the frozen waters of the far north exists a creature so mysterious that for centuries ancient peoples believed they were observing a magical being emerging from the ocean depths. The narwhal, known as the unicorn of the sea, possesses an almost supernatural appearance thanks to the gigantic spiral tusk emerging from the heads of adult males, sometimes exceeding 3 meters in length. Despite its calm and mystical image, the narwhal became one of the most impossible animals to maintain in any zoo or aquarium on Earth. Several historical attempts ended in tragedy because the species displays extreme levels of physical, psychological, and behavioral sensitivity when removed from its natural environment. Its organism evolved to withstand enormous ocean pressures, freezing temperatures, and gigantic migratory patterns that are simply impossible to reproduce artificially. In captivity, animals rapidly develop severe stress, refusing food, entering continuous states of anxiety, and displaying erratic behavior. Some individuals died within days of capture even under intensive care. The narwhal demonstrates extreme sensitivity to sounds, vibrations, artificial lighting, and constant human presence. Its highly refined echolocation system makes artificial environments profoundly disturbing. Mechanical noises, metallic echoes, engines, and hydraulic pumps generate stimuli that appear to cause continuous confusion. In certain cases, narwhals began repeatedly colliding against tank walls during panic episodes, causing serious injuries including fractures to the tusk. That gigantic tusk represents another serious risk. It is actually a hypersensitive tooth filled with nerve endings that functions as an advanced sensory organ. Under stress, the narwhal may use sudden head movements capable of piercing light structures or injuring nearby humans. Number 14, Cassowary. In the dense tropical forests of Australia and New Guinea silently walks a bird so dangerous that many specialists consider it the deadliest bird on the planet. The cassowary resembles a prehistoric creature that survived hidden since the age of dinosaurs. Standing nearly 2 meters tall with a muscular body, thick black plumage, and intensely cold eyes, it imposes immediate fear even before demonstrating aggression. The true terror lies in its extremely powerful legs equipped with sharp dagger-like claws capable of deeply piercing flesh, bones, and internal organs. Several documented attacks show that the cassowary can violently leap against threats using both legs simultaneously in extremely rapid movements. Its main claw frequently exceeds 12 centimeters, functioning literally as a biological knife. In one of the most famous cases, a man died after having his throat opened during a confrontation with an enraged cassowary. The central problem for zoos is that the species combines extreme territorial intelligence with highly unpredictable behavior. Unlike many large birds that may be partially conditioned, the cassowary maintains intense wild instincts even after years in captivity. Some apparently calm individuals become explosively aggressive in response to sudden movements, different clothing, metallic reflections, or simple prolonged eye contact. Handlers report that the animal frequently watches humans for long periods before reacting in a sudden and violent manner. An adult cassowary can run above 50 km per hour crossing dense vegetation without difficulty. Number 13, Southern Elephant Seal. On the frozen beaches of Antarctica and the subantarctic islands there exists a creature so colossal and unpredictable that many zoos simply refuse any attempt to keep it in permanent captivity. The southern elephant seal is the largest pinniped on the planet and one of the most dangerous mammals ever observed outside the traditional terrestrial environment. Adult males exceed 4 tons in weight and reach lengths greater than 6 meters, transforming into living mountains of fat, muscle, and territorial aggression. Despite their slow appearance while resting, these animals can move with explosive speed sufficient to crush a human being before there is even time to react. During breeding season, males enter extreme states of violence, disputing entire beaches through brutal confrontations that resemble battles between prehistoric monsters. They collide their gigantic bodies against one another while biting necks and chests using enormous teeth capable of deeply tearing flesh. Blood frequently covers the sand for hours while terrifying roars echo across the colonies. In captivity, reproducing any minimally adequate environment for an animal of this size is almost impossible. Modern zoos quickly realized that conventional structures cannot withstand the destructive behavior of these giants. An adult male in an aggressive state can destroy thick metal barriers simply using body weight combined with sudden movements. There are records of individuals breaking reinforced gates while charging during territorial outbursts. The greatest problem is the absolute unpredictability. Even apparently calm individuals may enter a state of extreme aggression after minimal stimuli such as unknown sounds, climatic changes, or simple human approach. A single head strike or bite can cause instant death. Number 12, Tasmanian Devil. In the dark cold forests of Tasmania there exists an animal whose appearance seems to come directly from an ancient nightmare. The Tasmanian devil possesses behavior so aggressive and unpredictable that many modern zoos avoid keeping adult males entirely. Its name was not chosen by accident. European colonizers who heard its screams during the night genuinely believed demonic creatures inhabited those isolated forests. The sound produced during territorial confrontations resembles a mixture of roars, human screams, and metallic growls echoing through the dark woods. Despite its compact size, the Tasmanian devil possesses one of the most powerful bites proportionally to body size among all modern mammals. Its jaw crushes thick bones with ease, allowing it to devour practically every part of a carcass including teeth, skulls, and vertebrae. In captivity this creates an enormous problem because individuals continuously destroy metal structures, reinforced containers, and veterinary equipment. Some bite bars for hours until they damage their own teeth without showing any reduction in aggression. Their social behavior is deeply unstable. Even individuals raised together may suddenly begin brutal confrontations causing severe mutilations or death. The Tasmanian devil enters a state of violent frenzy in the presence of food and completely ignores human presence. There are records of individuals attacking boots, tools, hoses, and any object that approaches during feeding. Veterinarians describe physical restraint as highly dangerous because the animal violently twists attempting to reach any exposed part of the human body. Number 11, Pacific Walrus. In the frozen waters of the Arctic lives a colossal mammal so powerful and unpredictable that many modern zoos and aquariums completely avoid attempting to keep it. The Pacific walrus, although frequently portrayed as slow and even amusing, hides a terrifying combination of brute strength, gigantic size, and extremely dangerous behavior when stressed. Adult males exceed 2 tons in weight while carrying enormous tusks capable of piercing thick ice, heavy wood, and human flesh with devastating ease. Its massive body covered in thick skin resembles a biological tank adapted to survive in the harshest environments on the planet. In nature, walruses live in large groups upon ice blocks and frozen beaches where territorial disputes result in violent confrontations. Enraged males collide their gigantic bodies while attempting to pierce one another using their tusks, producing sounds that echo across Arctic regions like collisions between heavy vehicles. In captivity, reproducing adequate space for animals so enormous and social became almost impossible. The greatest problem emerges when the animal enters a state of panic. A frightened walrus instantly transforms into an uncontrollable destructive force, crushing bars, breaking containment walls, and attacking anything nearby. There are reports of individuals destroying entire sets of equipment simply while attempting to escape unknown sounds. Its weight means any sudden movement generates enough force to cause fatal accidents. In some recorded incidents, walruses attacked small boats after feeling threatened, their bodily momentum combined with gigantic tusks easily overturning smaller vessels. Number 10, Honey Badger. In the dry regions of Africa and isolated parts of the Middle East there exists a creature small in size but monstrous in behavior. The honey badger is frequently called the most fearless animal on the planet, and its aggression completely exceeds any expectation created by its compact appearance. Despite measuring little more than 70 centimeters, it behaves like a gigantic predator completely incapable of feeling fear, pain, or intimidation. In wild environments it has been recorded attacking lions, hyenas, leopards, buffaloes, and entire groups of African wild dogs without any hesitation. Its compact body is covered by extremely thick and incredibly loose skin, meaning that even when another animal manages to bite it, the honey badger can twist inside its own skin to counterattack directly at the aggressor's face. This characteristic makes it almost impossible to physically dominate. Several zoos around the world attempted to keep specimens, but numerous reports show individuals repeatedly escaping, destroying locks, digging through concrete, ripping apart metal bars, and learning human security patterns. Some handlers reported that certain honey badgers observe staff routines for weeks before identifying the exact moment to escape. In one African zoo, an individual stacked stones, logs, and branches to reach the upper fence before escaping into visitor areas during the night. Another learned to open metal latches using its front paws as improvised tools. Their accelerated metabolism and explosive temperament keep them in a permanent state of alert, reacting violently to practically any unexpected movement. Even common sedatives produce unpredictable effects because many individuals remain active long enough to represent extreme danger to veterinarians. Number 9. Wolverine. In the frozen regions of northern Europe, Canada, Alaska, and Siberia there exists a predator so aggressive, persistent, and destructive that many specialists consider it practically impossible to control under conventional confinement. The wolverine, despite resembling a cross between a small bear and a giant badger, possesses a legendary reputation among Arctic hunters because of its absurd strength, unbelievable endurance, and completely untamable behavior. Ancient peoples described it as a creature possessed by eternal fury because it frequently attacked much larger animals without any hesitation. Even wolves avoid prolonged direct confrontations with adult wolverines because of the extreme violence with which they defend territory, food, and hunting routes. In wild environments, wolverines have been recorded confronting lynxes, pumas, moose, and even driving young bears away from carcasses. Zoos that attempted to keep wolverines frequently faced constant destruction of facilities. The animal possesses impressive jaw strength capable of breaking extremely dense frozen bones, and in captivity uses this force against wood, metal, locks, and containment structures. Some individuals literally chew parts of the enclosure for hours, demonstrating almost obsessive persistence. The greatest problem, however, is their strategic intelligence. Wolverines observe human routines, memorize patterns, and exploit small structural weaknesses with terrifying efficiency. A European zoo reported that a wolverine learned the exact moment of the handler's shift change and used the brief interval to force open an exit. Another managed to dismantle part of the feeding system after weeks of manipulating metal structures with its paws. Number 8. Black rhinoceros. In the dry savannas and thorny forests of Africa there exists a mammal so explosively aggressive that even veteran handlers consider it one of the most dangerous animals ever kept under human care. The black rhinoceros, unlike other more tolerant species, possesses extremely territorial, nervous, and unpredictable behavior, transforming any approach into a potential death situation. Its gigantic body covered in thick skin resembles a prehistoric war machine equipped with sharp horns capable of piercing metal, wood, vehicles, and human bodies with devastating violence. An adult male can exceed 1.5 tons in weight while running at surprising speeds above 50 km per hour. In the wild, the black rhinoceros possesses relatively limited vision but extremely sharp hearing and smell. Upon detecting unknown sounds or odors, it frequently does not retreat. Instead, it immediately launches into a full-speed charge against the possible threat, destroying everything along the path. Unlike elephants or buffaloes, which generally display clear warning signs before attacking, the black rhinoceros often charges without any perceptible warning. In zoos, this behavior became a constant source of serious accidents. Some apparently calm individuals suddenly exploded into aggression after minimal environmental changes such as different smells, new clothing, metallic sounds, or the presence of strangers near the enclosure. Practically no conventional structure can withstand an enraged black rhinoceros. There are reports of animals ripping out metal gates, bending thick beams, and breaking reinforced walls simply using bodily momentum. A single charge resembles the impact of a small truck at full speed. Number 7. Hippopotamus. In the muddy rivers of Africa exists an animal so dangerously aggressive that several specialists consider it far deadlier than lions, crocodiles, and hyenas combined. The hippopotamus, despite its heavy and apparently slow appearance, is a biological machine of territorial destruction capable of killing human beings with terrifying ease. Adult males exceed 4 tons in weight while carrying gigantic jaws capable of opening nearly 180 degrees, revealing enormous tusks sharp as ivory knives. In the wild, the hippopotamus dominates rivers, lakes, and shorelines through absolute violence, expelling practically any creature that invades its territory. Unlike many large mammals that display clear warning signs before attacking, the hippopotamus frequently explodes into aggression without any perceptible warning. An apparently motionless individual inside the water may suddenly launch forward at absurd speed, covering dozens of meters within seconds. Despite their colossal size, they can run faster than human beings on land, destroying obstacles along the way. In captivity, maintaining adequate structures became a gigantic challenge. Deep reinforced pools, isolation areas, special hydraulic systems, and nearly industrial barriers are necessary simply to prevent a hippopotamus from destroying the enclosure. There are countless reports of individuals breaking metal bars, ripping out gates, and crushing concrete barriers during territorial outbursts. A simple strike of the head can destroy small vehicles, while a bite is capable of splitting boats in half. Perhaps most terrifying of all, hippopotamuses raised around humans since infancy have suddenly become aggressive after reaching hormonal maturity, with no warning whatsoever. Number 6. Komodo dragon. On the hot isolated islands of Indonesia lives a reptile that appears to have survived completely unchanged since the age of dinosaurs. The Komodo dragon is the largest lizard on the planet and one of the most dangerous predators ever placed under human care. Adult males exceed 3 meters in length, carrying muscular bodies covered in thick scales, enormous claws, and jaws filled with curved shark-like teeth. Unlike the slow image some documentaries portray, this animal moves with explosive speed over short distances and performs attacks of terrifying violence. In the wild, it hunts deer, wild boar, buffalo, and occasionally human beings. Its bite combines devastating force with saliva loaded with dangerous bacteria and anticoagulant venom that causes intense bleeding and progressive physical collapse. Many bitten animals initially escape only to die hours later, while the dragon calmly follows the scent of blood until it locates the weakened prey. In zoos, the central problem is that the Komodo dragon never loses its predatory instincts. Even individuals raised from birth continue demonstrating extremely dangerous behavior upon reaching maturity. Handlers report that the animal watches people silently for long periods as if evaluating attack possibilities. Some recorded attacks occurred without any perceptible warning. Dragons have suddenly lunged forward, biting the legs, arms, and torsos of employees during routine procedures. Their muscular strength allows them to pull adults easily to the ground, while serrated teeth deeply tear flesh. The most frightening factor of all is its opportunistic intelligence. Komodo dragons quickly learn human patterns, including feeding schedules, cleaning routines, and the movements of every handler in the facility. Number 5. Killer whale. In the cold, deep oceans of the planet exists a predator so intelligent, powerful, and emotionally complex that several specialists believe keeping it imprisoned inside artificial tanks represents one of the greatest incompatibilities ever created between wild nature and human confinement. The orca is not merely one of the most efficient hunters on Earth, but also a creature endowed with extraordinary social intelligence comparable in many ways to that of great primates. In the wild, family groups remain united throughout life, communicating through unique dialects, collective hunting strategies, and highly sophisticated cultural behaviors. Adult males exceed 9 tons in weight and reach lengths greater than 9 meters. A single strike of the tail produces enough force to launch human beings dozens of meters away or instantly destroy light metallic structures. In natural environments, orcas have been recorded hunting great white sharks, giant seals, sea lions, and even enormous whales through coordinated strategies of terrifying intelligence. The central problem began when institutions attempted to imprison creatures evolved to travel hundreds of kilometers daily inside relatively tiny tanks. Studies demonstrated that orcas in captivity develop extreme levels of psychological stress, depression, self-mutilation, and increasing aggression. Some individuals spent decades continuously swimming in circles while striking their heads against tank walls. Others ripped parts of their own teeth out by biting concrete and metallic structures due to chronic frustration. Animals once cooperative became unpredictable, hostile, and extremely dangerous. Number 4. Polar bear. In the frozen regions of the far north silently walks a predator so powerful that many specialists consider it the most dangerous terrestrial carnivore on the planet. The polar bear, unlike most large predators, displays no significant natural fear of human beings. In its wild environment, practically no threats exist capable of confronting it directly, which transformed the species into an absolutely dominant hunting machine adapted to survive in the most brutal environments on Earth. Adult males exceed 700 kilograms while reaching gigantic sizes when standing on their hind legs. Beneath the thick white fur exists monumental musculature capable of tearing apart enormous seals, dragging extremely heavy carcasses, and swimming dozens of kilometers through freezing waters without exhaustion. The problem for zoos begins precisely with the extreme predatory nature of the species. Unlike lions, tigers, or leopards, which often avoid unnecessary confrontations, the polar bear frequently investigates any living being as a possible food source. Several attacks recorded in Arctic regions demonstrate terrifyingly persistent behavior. Some bears pursued humans for kilometers, crossing ice, snow, and freezing water without abandoning the hunting attempt. In captivity, this predatory instinct combined with confinement generates extremely dangerous situations. Handlers describe that the polar bear constantly watches people near the enclosures, analyzing movements, routines, and possible vulnerabilities. Its fixed silent stare creates enormous psychological discomfort even in experienced professionals. There are reports of individuals ripping out metal doors, breaking special glass, and dismantling parts of the artificial environment after long periods of repeatedly manipulating objects. Number 3. Saltwater crocodile. In the tropical rivers, mangroves, and oceanic coasts of Southeast Asia and Australia exists a creature that has practically not changed since the age of dinosaurs. The saltwater crocodile is the largest living reptile on the planet and perhaps the deadliest ambush predator ever to exist. Giant males exceed 7 meters in length and weigh more than 1 ton, transforming into true amphibious tanks covered by nearly impenetrable bony plates. Unlike many large predators, the crocodile displays no emotions that are easily interpreted. It remains motionlessly silent, almost invisible beneath the water, observing everything while waiting for the perfect moment to attack with explosive speed impossible to predict. In the natural environment, the saltwater crocodile hunts practically every living being it can overpower, including fish, sharks, birds, buffaloes, wild boars, horses, and human beings. Its attack is brutally efficient. In less than 1 second it explodes out of the water using its gigantic tail, monstrous jaws, and absurd strength to drag the victim directly underwater. Its bite is considered one of the most powerful ever recorded in the animal kingdom, capable of instantly crushing bones. In modern zoos, keeping giant crocodiles became an extreme challenge because the animal appears incapable of distinguishing humans from potential prey. Unlike mammals that may develop some degree of social conditioning, the crocodile maintains predatory instincts almost completely intact even after decades in captivity. Some animals spend years apparently calm before exploding into fatal attacks without any perceptible warning. Recent studies demonstrated that crocodiles observe human patterns, learn schedules, and may even prepare ambushes using calculated behavior. In certain cases, individuals remained partially submerged near access areas waiting for doors to be opened. Number 2. Kodiak brown bear. On the frozen islands of Alaska lives a giant so monstrously powerful that many specialists consider it the most dangerous terrestrial animal ever placed in modern captivity. The Kodiak brown bear is one of the largest forms of bear on the planet, easily surpassing 700 kilograms in gigantic adult males. When standing on its hind legs, it can reach heights greater than 3 meters, transforming literally into a living wall of muscle, claws, and absurd brute force. Unlike smaller predators, the Kodiak does not need to act stealthily. Its mere presence completely dominates any surrounding environment. In the wild, these bears travel mountains, rivers, dense forests, and coastal regions hunting salmon, deer carcasses, and practically any available food source. The true reason for terror is not merely the colossal size but the extreme unpredictability. The Kodiak bear alternates moments of apparent calm with instant explosions of devastating aggression. Several recorded attacks show that a Kodiak can cover dozens of meters at absurd speed before a person can even react. Its front paws function like biological sledgehammers capable of instantly breaking bones, while enormous claws deeply tear flesh in a single strike. In zoos, maintaining an animal of this size became a logistical, psychological, and physical nightmare. Conventional structures simply cannot withstand the brutal strength of an enraged adult Kodiak. There are reports of individuals ripping out metal gates, destroying reinforced walls, and shattering special glass after episodes of stress or territorial irritation. A single bodily impact from a bear of this size possesses force comparable to the collision of a small vehicle. The greatest problem lies in the surprising intelligence of the species. Kodiak bears observe human patterns, learn routines, memorize schedules, and constantly test vulnerable points of the environment. Some zoos recorded individuals manipulating complex objects using logs, stones, and equipment as improvised tools to reach forbidden areas. Unlike felines, which frequently kill quickly, the attack of a gigantic bear is chaotic, brutal, and practically impossible to physically stop. Even containment weapons frequently fail because the animal continues advancing despite severe injuries. Number 1. Siberian Tiger. In the frozen forests of Siberia and the mountainous regions of the Asian Far East lives a hunter so silent and deadly that many specialists consider it the most dangerous feline ever kept in captivity. The Siberian tiger is not only the largest cat on the planet but also a perfect hunting machine built by evolution to dominate gigantic territories covered in snow, ice, and darkness. Adult males exceed 300 kilograms of pure muscle while carrying enormous paws, devastating jaws, and reflexes so fast that fatal attacks happen within fractions of a second. Unlike lions that live in groups, the Siberian tiger is deeply solitary, extremely territorial, and terrifyingly intelligent. In the wild, it travels hundreds of kilometers through mountains and dense forests hunting deer, wild boar, moose, and even young bears. This constant need for territory and freedom transforms confinement into a true psychological ordeal for the species. Many individuals spend hours endlessly pacing repetitive routes demonstrating extreme levels of mental stress. Others become silently obsessive, watching handlers for long periods with disturbing intensity. The central problem is that the tiger never completely loses its predatory instinct. Even animals raised around humans since infancy continue seeing rapid movements, unexpected sounds, and physical proximity as potential hunting stimuli. Several fatal attacks recorded in zoos happened precisely because an apparently calm tiger reacted instantly to a minimal human mistake. A poorly closed door, a slip during feeding, or simple inadequate approach proved sufficient to trigger brutal tragedies. The attack of a Siberian tiger is terrifyingly efficient. Within seconds it can knock adults to the ground using gigantic body weight while applying a fatal bite to the throat or neck. Some reports describe absolute silence before impact, making it almost impossible to react in time. In the wild regions of Siberia, stories involving tigers became legendary due to the number of terrifying confrontations recorded over the centuries. Some attacks happened simply because the tiger interpreted human proximity as a territorial threat. Others involved clearly predatory behavior with no provocation whatsoever. The Siberian tiger does not merely kill. It hunts. And in captivity, every human being nearby is always a potential target.